everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me May or MG if you would like, and today is April 1st, which means this is the start of the Orilium spring semester, so I'm starting my Orilium vlog. Excuse the wet hair, I just got out of the shower a little bit ago. It is about 9:30 in the morning, and I have a half hour or so before I have to leave to run errands, so I'm going to crack into my first book of the month, and that is The Battle for Scandia by John Flanagan. This is the fourth book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, and this is my book for the astronomy prompt, which is a book that has two E's in the title. So I'm hoping I can finish the whole thing today. I do have a lot of things going on though, so I'm not sure if that's totally achievable, but I'm going to get going on that, and hopefully I update you guys later. You all know I'm not the best at remembering to update my vlog, but we can hope. And that's Chloe knocking my arm where I'm holding the camera. Yeah, I'll get back to you later. Hello friends. Sorry about my heat going in the background. Today is April 2nd. It is about 11 a.m. and I have just finished reading The Battle for Scandia, so my first book of the month done. And I have about 3 hours until the Nostalgia Train book club stream that I'm going to be on. And I think in that time I'm going to alternate between writing and reading, because I am also doing Camp Nano this month, as if I didn't have enough on my plate with all the books I wanted to read. So I'm going to maybe do, like, for every 100 words I write, I'll read a chapter of what, you ask? Well, the next book I'm picking up is actually the only manga on my list. I really feel like I should have put more manga. Anyway, it is The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 12. This is the, like, short story collection that comes after the conclusion of the actual story of The Girl from the Other Side. There are 6 stories and then, like, a little bonus mini one. So, like, if I can write 700 words, then I get through the whole thing. I don't think it's gonna happen in the 3 hours before the stream, because I have been feeling pretty distracted lately, and YouTube is very distracting, but I can always pick it all back up after the stream. Chloe is climbing into my lap. Yeah, that's my plans for the day. I think I can finish this book in one day. It's not long, it's manga. Hello, ma'am. And I will check back with you later on, I guess, so see you then. Hello, friends. Wow, my hair is a mess. It's fine. I just finished reading The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 12. It's been a few hours. Chloe's approaching because she hears me talking. Yeah, it was cute. It wasn't, like, great. Like, it doesn't really have much bearing on the actual story, because it's just little filler stories. But it was cute. I liked it, and I get to move on to my third book of the month tomorrow. I'll be picking it up, so I will let you know about that then. Chloe, why are you scratching at everything? I tell you, she has been a menace lately when I'm trying to film, but I'll see you tomorrow. Hello friends, today is the 3rd of April, and I'm filming from this very awkward location. I'm literally, like, crouched on the ground to get this angle, because today I'm gonna start reading, if I can do this without falling over, Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury, and this is to cover the prompt for Art of Illusion, where you have to match your clothes to the cover. And so this is my outfit. You can see I've got the green pants on to match. It's not at all the same shade of green, but, like, there's green, and, like, I've got some yellow and white going on to match. So yeah, wanted to show off my outfit. I'm planning to do a different outfit that matches for every day that takes me to read this, and it's pretty chunky, so it'll take me quite a few days. But I thought it would be cute to give you guys a little outfit of the day moment while I'm reading this. But yeah, I'm gonna start reading this today. I'm probably gonna do the same thing where I alternate between reading and writing, because that seemed to work very well yesterday in both fronts. I was very productive. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that and maybe update you guys later. Probably not until tomorrow though, if I know myself. Okay, this is another really weird angle, but I'm going out for a little bit, so I have a bit of an update on my outfit. First, I have my lemon sneakers, so we're getting a little bit more yellow in there, and this is the bag that I have for the day. So we've got a different shade of green, some more planty stuff, and some brown, because there's also brown on the cover, so I'm covering a little bit more of my bases. That's it. That's my update. I've only read 2 chapters of the book so far. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting. and the next chapter is from the second POV, so I'm very excited to get into that once I come back home. Okay, we are getting all of the weird angles for this vlog. Today is the 4th, and I wanted to show you my outfit since I'm still reading Delicious Monsters. So I've got this cute dress on, just to get more green. Can never have enough green. And I'm probably gonna wear my lemon shoes again because they're like my favorite. Now let me get a little bit more comfortable so I can update you on how I feel about Delicious Monsters. So I am just over 100 pages in, so I'm like a fifth of the way through, and I am loving this. It's so good. I love horror, and I don't usually go for multi-timeline stuff, but I like the way this is done. We're getting a lot of the past timeline, but I feel like that's a lot of setup, and as it goes on, we're going to get more of the present timeline. I don't actually know if it's present. I was talking about this yesterday with my boyfriend. I don't know when these two timelines take place, just that they're 10 years apart. So, Instagram is mentioned in the past timeline, so it's not, like, super late, and so it might be, like, 2013-ish, and then the present timeline is 2023. That would make sense. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I don't want to spoil anything, but like, I'm having a really good time. I have had one really gross moment, but this is horror, and there is a content warning for a bunch of stuff. Definitely read that if you are interested in this book. Read that before you get to the, like, actual book, because it might contain some stuff you don't want to read about. And it did mention, like, you know, body horror and stuff, which I love, but there was one really gross moment. So this is a little bit TMI, but I pick at my skin, which you could probably tell from my videos. It's a medical condition. It's something that I've always dealt with. And there's a scene in this book where one of the characters is picking at a scab that she has, like, in her hair, and she, like, skip over the next, like, 30 seconds or so if you get grossed out by skin stuff. She, like, lifts up the scab, and she can see in the mirror, like, a maggot or, like, a worm or something, and, like, I don't do any kind of bugs or creepy crawlies. Maggots especially, like, are so bad. But, yeah, that moment made me really, squeamish. And, it fits. It's very fitting for this, like, tone, and I can't wait for more gross stuff, because I do like gross stuff. It's just certain things that I don't like bugs and things. But, yeah, that moment was a little bit too close to home, because I'm like, ooh, now next time I go to, like, pick at my skin, I'm gonna be worrying about that. Anyway, I am thoroughly enjoying this book, and I cannot wait to keep reading it. Hello, friends. It is almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 5th, and I'm finally updating you. I've been meaning to update you all day, but I've just been reading instead, because Delicious Monsters is so good. I've already read 150 pages today, and now I only have 100 pages left, and I'm going to read it today. Like, I'm finishing this book. It's so good. Oh, a little update about my outfit. I'm wearing just plain blue jeans to get that blue sky color from the cover of the book, and then my green hoodie that you've seen in almost every single video of mine, because it's the most comfortable thing I own, and I'm in love with it. Anyway, Delicious Monsters. It's so good. It's honestly one of the best books that I've read in a long time, and it's just fantastic. I love it so much. It's so dark. I mean, it's a horror, obviously. There are 2 twists that, when the, like, first bit of them was, like, hinted at, I was like, I know exactly where that's going, and I was correct. I did know where both of those twists were going, except when they were revealed to the character, they, like, went a step beyond what I had thought they would do, and so even though I knew the truth about it, I didn't know the whole thing, and it still blew my mind. This book is fantastic. If you like horror, I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good, especially if you like haunted house ghost horror. Yeah, it's very good. I was a little bit apprehensive because while I liked Lazelle's first book, Blood Like Magic, I didn't, like, love it. I thought it was fine. And so I'm like, maybe Lazelle's writing just isn't my thing. But this is so good. I know, like, her first book, she's definitely improved since then. Obviously, with each book you put out, you just improve more. But also, this is just much more my genre. And, like, I'm just having a fantastic time reading this. It is so good. Hello, friends. It is almost exactly an hour and a half since I last updated you, and I have just finished Delicious Monsters, and I'm trying so hard not to cry right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, Chloe is waking up across the room. She might come interrupt. Anyway, yeah, I read half of this book today because yesterday I ended up getting just about to page 250 when I decided to go to bed. So I read from 250 to 500 today. Technically, I think it's 501. Chloe is in fact on her way. If you did not hear her jump off of the chair onto the floor, she's coming over to the bed now. It's fine. Yeah, 250 pages in one day. This book was so good. And I'm obsessed. There's a little bit where I was iffy on it. Maybe I'm so bad at remembering numbers. Chloe, please stop scratching at the bed. Like 3 or 4 chapters before the end, there was like something where they were hinting at something, and I'm like, not a big fan of this. But then they fixed it, and the book was so good. I think it's, hello Chloe, either an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10, 8.5. I don't do half stars like that. It's not a 10. There are a couple of details that I'm like, about, but definitely very, very good, and could not recommend highly enough if you like ghost stories, that kind of horror, if you like books set in Canada. I know a lot of readers from Canada like to read books that are set specifically in Canada. This is. Lizelle is a Canadian author, and so specifically sets all of her books in Canada. You gotta read that warning though, the content warning. There are some very, very heavy topics in this, so don't read it if those are things that bother you when you read. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling. I just really loved this book, so I will see you tomorrow, I guess, when I start the next book. I don't remember what's next on my list, but I'll see you tomorrow. Hello friends, it is 8:30 p.m., still on the 5th. I've decided that 250 pages of Delicious Monsters is not enough for me today, and I'm going to start my next read, which is, I'm going to hold up the dust jacket for you because I've already taken it off, Vespertine by Margaret Rogers. Oh, the colors coming off of the lettering is so pretty. This entire book is so pretty. This is my pick for Spells and Incantations, which is to read a book between 300 and... Oh goodness, what is the page range? Hold on. Please hold. 389 to 415 pages. Because I fudged it a little bit on this. Yeah, I'm gonna start reading Vespertine. I've never read any Margaret Rogerson before, but I've wanted to for a while because I've heard nothing but fantastic stuff about all of her books. I have like a special edition here. This was a Christmas gift from my parents this past December. So I was taking the dust jacket off, and first of all, dust jacket is gorgeous, but there's like an alternate dust jacket underneath, so I guess I could like flip it inside out if I wanted this cover. Like, that's so cool. Then the actual hardcover, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like embossed. Ooh, there you go. You can like see this bird. What kind of bird is this? I guess I'll figure it out when I read. It's got the bird and like swords and this really cool design. It's got blue sprayed edges. It's got gorgeous end papers. It is signed, and it's got this character art that I'm obsessed with. Like, I'm hoping that this is like my new favorite book because this is just too beautiful for me not to love it so much. So if the story is like lacking, I'm gonna be so upset. But I don't think it will be. I've heard great things about this author, this book. I have high expectations that I'm pretty sure are going to be fulfilled. So, yeah, this is just under 400 pages. I don't know how much I'm going to read tonight. It is, like, just after 8:30, and I have nothing else planned for the night. So I tentatively have 2 hours of reading time before I will be going to bed. So I don't think I'll update you before I go to bed. So I will see you tomorrow, I guess, judging on how much I read of this. So I will see you when I see you. Hello friends. Terrible angle, terrible lighting. We're gonna roll with it. Today is the 7th of April. It's almost 5 in the evening, and I haven't updated you in a hot minute because I just haven't been feeling well. Chloe's making her way over. Yeah, yesterday I just kind of felt pretty blah, and then this morning I woke up with a migraine so terrible, probably one of the worst migraines that I've had in months, if not years. Hello, Chloe. I don't know if she's gonna get on camera. Oh, there's her butt. I just want to let you guys know how I almost called the Sorcery of Thorns because I just saw someone mention that in a video. That is not the Margaret Rogerson I'm reading. I'm reading Vespertine. How I wanted to let you know how Vespertine was going. I am basically exactly halfway. I just finished page 200, so I've read 14 chapters, and I'm absolutely loving this. It's so good. Also, like, it might be a comp title for one of my stories, and that's pretty freaking cool. I'm excited about that. So I'm like hesitant to really call it a comp title till I finish reading it, but like just the premise and everything is very similar. Not like completely similar, but like, you know, like comp title type of similar. So yeah, that's how I've been. So I'm probably gonna finish this, probably not tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm still not feeling 100%. But yeah, I will see you guys whenever I do finish this, so see you then. I apologize for the sound of my heat going, but it's going. Today is the 8th, and it's like a little bit after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't actually know when evening starts. Anyway, I have just finished reading Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson, and if we were just talking about the story, I would give this a 10 out of 10. However, technically, like the technicality of it, the writing and everything, I'm probably gonna give it an 8 or a 9. I'm not too certain yet. I have to get my thoughts out before I decide on what arbitrary number I give it. I just feel like the pacing, oh, and now my heat is going off. I feel like the pacing is kind of off, and it's both too wrapped up at the end and not wrapped up enough. Like, this story wraps up so perfectly, but then it's very clear that there's supposed to be a sequel to this, or at least there's the lead into possibly having a sequel. And I think I did read somewhere that this is supposed to be like a trilogy, but then she only got picked up for the one book or something. I don't know. I don't know for certain. I just think I read that somewhere. But yeah, the ending, not my favorite. And the world also feels really closed off. Like, we only get this one religion, and then this like old magic is like talked about and stuff, and we see a little bit of it, but it just, I wish we had a little bit more, like the world was expanded on, if that makes sense. So while I loved the story of it, I just wish the little bits and pieces were changed, or like a little bit more information about the world was scattered throughout. So not perfect, but I did absolutely love this, and I'm really glad about that. I love reading books that I love. So the next book I'm reading is going to be The Scapegracers, and this is my restoration prompt. I don't own this physically. I will be reading it as an ebook on Scribd, so I guess I'll see you whenever I have updates for that. Hello everybody. Today is the 11th, and I've just finished reading The Scapegracers. I did not update you a single time while reading that, and I apologize. I just haven't really been feeling up to vlogging and everything. I had a migraine on and off for like 5 days now. It's been terrible, but I think I'm getting over it. My head hurt a little bit this morning, but I took medicine and now I'm feeling better. We move on. Yeah, Scapegracers was okay. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's not like fantastic, but it's fun. There were some like, I don't know, I feel like there wasn't really a plot thread throughout. It was more like things just kept happening. And I don't know, I felt lost reading it, but I still had a fun time, and I like the characters and everything, and I like the whole like way magic works. And I'd like to read the sequel at some point. The sequel is called The Scratch Daughters and has an equally beautiful cover. But yeah, I'll read the sequel eventually, maybe. We know I'm very bad at reading sequels. Anyway, time to start yet another series. The next book I am picking up is The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. This is my book to fill the lore prompt, which is a book that has a map, and this has a map. it also has like illustrations throughout, and I'm like, can you even see this? I'm gonna drop this book. I don't know. I'm very excited to read this. It is just so intriguing, and yeah, I'll probably get to this later today. I'm gonna start it. How long is this book? Chloe, where are you going? Hopefully not to bother me. Are there page numbers? Yeah, 373 pages, so I don't think it's gonna take super long to read. We'll see. But yeah, I'm very excited. I have never read From Crest to Cal before. It says here that she wrote How to Train Your Dragon, and I know a lot of people read those books as kids. I was not one of them. I've seen the second movie, not the first one, the second one, and I thought it was fun. I'm very excited to read this book. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself, so I'm gonna cut myself off before that happens. I'll catch you later. Okay, you're getting terrible angle, terrible lighting, because it is 9:30 at night, and I just wanted to update you guys. It is still the 11th, and I have decided to DNF The Wizards of Once. It's no fault of the book, it's just that I like middle grade. I read a lot of middle grade. It's just that this is a little bit too young for me. Like, it reads like it would be for 9 or 10-year-olds, and that's like the low end of middle grade and like not what I like to read. I like more upper middle grade, and so I am stopping at, I read the first 5 chapters, 85 pages, and it's a shame. I just am not really getting into it. It's just not grabbing me, but like it has all these, oh, this is annoying me, I'm taking that off. It has like, if I can find some like illustrations, and there's some really beautiful ones. Like, that's fantastic, but I don't want to read 300 more pages of this when I'm not enjoying the story, the characters, or anything. But I do have some cousins I want to give this to. So I have 3 cousins. They're all brothers that I'm like close to, and the oldest one is 10, and so I think this would be like, he's like the perfect age for this, and then he can just give it to his brothers when they're old enough for this kind of thing, because the other ones are younger. One's 7 and one's 3. I don't actually know how old the youngest one is. 3 or 4. I think he's 3. Anyway, yeah, the oldest one, who's 10, I think would be the perfect age to read this book, and I've given them a lot of my books, like, as I've grown and not wanted to keep some of the younger ones. Like, my aunt is a huge reader, and so she's getting her kids into reading, and so they've gotten a lot of my hand-me-down books. It's not going to be anything new for them getting more from me. There are a couple of other books that I own that I was looking at my shelf, and I'm like, maybe I don't need to keep this anymore, so I think I'm going to do an unhaul in the coming weeks and grab a couple of books that I want to give my cousins. But yeah, I'm officially DNFing The Wizards of Once. I'm still going to count the prompt for lore as completed because I did give it my try. I got 22-ish% through, a little more than 20%, and I'm counting that prompt as completed. But I guess I get to move on, and tomorrow I will be picking up Roar by Cora Carmack. This is a book that I've owned for way, way, way too long and not read it. Like, I'm talking since high school. I graduated college 3 years ago, so I've had this for a while. When did this come out? This came out 2017. Okay, so I guess I got it at the beginning of college, but still, I've owned this for way too long, and I'm gonna read it. And this is the book for the prompt of Psionics and Divination, which the prompt is clouds on the cover and the title, and as you can see, it's a very stormy sky because this deals with storm magic. So hopefully this one goes better than The Wizards of Once did, because this is YA, and I do read more YA than I do middle grade. So I'm gonna stop rambling and see you maybe tomorrow with an update. We will see. Hello friends, today is the 12th, and I have started reading, can you see the spine, Roar by Cora Carmack. First of all, stunning, brilliant white hardback, I feel like I never see white hardbacks. They probably get too dirty too quickly, and that's why people don't do it. But I've read the first chapter, and I can tell why they made it white, because blizzards are, like, kind of getting to be a theme already. I don't want to call it a theme, because, like I said, I'm only one chapter in, but I can see the, like, hinting at blizzards being, like, a theme and something tied into the main character, aside from just, like, storms in general, because everyone has storm magic, but there's, like, different types of storm magic. Anyway, I just want to point out how tiny this font is. Can you see this? That's insane. This is, like, size 10 font, and the margins are so small. How many pages is this? This is 378 pages. I bet if they made the font, like, a normal size, it would be, like, 500 pages. Like, that's how small this font is, and it's insane. Like, I've never seen this small of a font outside of, like, a textbook, and it was so unexpected. But yeah, first chapter, pretty good. It's very classic YA. When did this come out? I don't know what year. Oh, there's a map in it, by the way. So that's pretty fun. I do like maps. 2017. Okay. So not like the early 2010s YA fantasy vibe. I should have turned on a light before filming this. This is wild. Anyway, but yeah, very YA fantasy. Like, very... Chloe's at the door. Very, what's the word I'm looking for? Traditional? Stereotypical? I don't know. I am interested. I'm gonna keep going and see how it goes. Good morning, friends. I'm in bed. I've been reading all morning. It's the 13th, I think. The day after yesterday. I updated you guys yesterday, so whatever yesterday was, add 1, and that's what today is. I'm pretty sure it's the 13th. Anyway, I'm about 100 pages into Roar, and, like, honestly, if this book came out now instead of 6 years ago, the TikTok girlies, they'd be all over it. The main character, Aurora, doesn't have magic, but she's a princess, and she's got to keep that a secret. The whole, you know the deal. And then she's engaged to Cassius, who is the second son of a different kingdom, so he's not going to inherit his own kingdom, and he's got this, like, ulterior motive, and he's dark and brooding and handsome, of course. And then there's also Locke, Locke is the last name of Cassius, because that's the country that his family rules. That's how last names work here, I guess. But this guy whose first name is Locke, it's like a nickname, because he's part of this black market storm-chasing crew, and they all have nicknames, and his is Locke for whatever reason. He's also handsome, and he's, like, caring, and everyone falls in love in, like, 30 seconds. So, you know how it goes, it's YA fantasy romance. But, you know, I really feel like TikTok would be all over this book. I don't know, that's just the vibes I'm getting. I don't have TikTok, but I just feel like the TikTok girls would love this book. I'm having a fun time. It's kind of funny in that, like, oh, it's a little bit outdated kind of way. Not outdated as in, like, saying things that are offensive, but, like, just, it's cheesy. It's very cliche YA fantasy romance from the late 2010s, and I'm just having fun with it. Ooh, my heat is kicking off, and I feel like I'm yelling. I'm excited to see where this goes, so I'm gonna keep reading. Hello, friends. It is currently 9:45 p.m. on the 14th. I don't think I've updated you yet today. You get this wonderful angle and my messy hair, because I've been reading while laying down in bed, and I have just finished Roar by Cora Carmack. I think I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It was fine, but it wasn't fantastic. It's very standard YA fantasy with romance involved. I wouldn't call it a fantasy romance. I would call it a fantasy with a romantic subplot. Didn't really wrap anything up in the end. You have a series, you're supposed to wrap up the events of the book and then leave just enough open to lead into the next book. This didn't wrap anything up. Like, I don't know. It was okay. Wasn't anything special. This is one of those books where I could continue on with the series, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. I'm probably gonna look on Scribd to see if they have the sequels, and if not, maybe if I see them at like the thrift store. I think I bought this at Dollar Tree. I'm not gonna go out of my way to spend like full price on these books. I didn't like it that much. I might unhaul it. I plan on doing an unhaul a couple of weeks from now because I'm moving in a few months, and so I want to unhaul some stuff. I already know I have other books that I want to get rid of. I'm not saying for certain this is going to be one of them. I might keep it, I might not. I'll decide that when I get there, but yeah. It was okay. It was a fine book. Next, I will be picking up The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is the first book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. It's called a trilogy, but there's 5 books. Yeah, this is my book for, what class was it? Inscription? The prompt is a book off the highest shelf. I'm pretty sure it's Inscription. This is very short. It's like just over 200 pages. Yeah, so I will be able to finish this up pretty quickly, I think. This is one of my IRL friends' favorite books of all time, so I'm very excited to read it. Also, I love the movie, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna really like the book. And like, I know how like Douglas Adams has like a really unique, quirky writing style, so I'm very excited to get into this. This is the last book that I have to read for the like callings that I'm actually interested in. Remember how I said there were 3 callings that I was considering, and so I wanted to read all of the prompts that fit those 3 callings, and then if I have time at the end of the month, I'll read books for the other classes. Well, today's only the 14th, so we're only halfway through the month, so I think I'm going to get through a fair few extra classes. Maybe all of them. Who knows? But, yeah. This is the next book I'll be picking up tomorrow, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I have quite the busy weekend, but I'll probably be able to read Hitchhiker's Guide over the next 2, maybe 3 days at most. Yeah, that is it for now. I'll see you when I see ya. Hello everybody, today is the 17th and I'm finally halfway through Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. For something that's only like 210 pages, it is taking me so long to read this. I don't know why, because I'm really enjoying it. I don't know, it's kind of very dense, and even though I like the writing style and the humor of it, it's just like a lot of weird terms thrown everywhere, and it's kind of like holding me up, I guess. I don't know. I'm having a good time. It's just taking me a lot longer than expected to read it. So like I said, I'm about halfway through. And yeah, that's, I guess, my whole update. I don't know. I just haven't really been reading a lot in general these past like 2-3 days. I haven't been feeling very well. And I've also had a lot of other stuff going on taking up my time. So I'm trucking along. I will see you when I finish this. Hello friends, it's awkward angle time. Remember earlier today when I said I was having a hard time getting into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and I had just hit halfway and it was taking me forever to read it? Well, I finished it. Okay, first of all, I said it was 210 pages, and it is. The story itself is only 180 pages and the last 30 is like supplementary material. So I thought I was only halfway, but I had like only 70 pages left. I didn't know that until I finished it. I had started getting a headache, so I was like, let me just lay in bed and read for like an hour instead of staring at a screen, and hopefully my headache will go away. It hasn't. It's better, but I still have a little bit of a headache. Anyway, an hour later, I've read the 70 pages of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because even if I'm like struggling, I still just read fast. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I did really enjoy it. I feel like if I hadn't seen the movie first, I would have been much more lost than I was. But I still think it's really good. I apologize if you can hear Chloe licking herself in the background. But yeah, now I get to move on with the rest of the series at some point, as with everything else I've been reading this month, because I'm just starting so many series. Jeez. But yeah, that's my experience with this. Next, I will be picking up Iron Wolf by Siri Petterson, probably one of my most anticipated books of the year. This is the first book in her Vardari series. I think that's how it's pronounced. Vardari. It takes place in the same world as Odin's Child, but like thousands of years later, follows different people, obviously. And the main character has like blood magic. As you can see, we've got like teeth on the front cover. Gruesome. I love it. I'm just really, really excited to get into this. She is thick. How many pages is this? Oh, 478. So much longer than Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I have a feeling it's gonna go fast because I'm so excited to get into this. I just cannot wait. I love Siri Petterson's books. She's one of my favorite authors. I'm just very excited to read this. I don't remember if I've said it in my ramblings. This is my pick for the alchemy prompt. So that's pretty fun. The prompt is a book with a metal in the title. So we have iron. It fits. So yeah, I'm going to go about the rest of my day. I'll probably start this tonight before bed because I do like reading before bed. Chloe is approaching. That was terrifying. Yeah, so I will update you guys probably a lot for this book just because I am so excited for it and I just am going to enjoy it a lot. I'll see you later. Hello friends, it is noon on the 19th and I am about 180 pages into Iron Wolf and I'm really enjoying it. This light is like so bright here, sorry. I'm really enjoying it. Not as much as I am Odin's Child. I feel like it's a little bit harder to get into this, but I think it's because of how much I love Odin's Child and the Raven Rings trilogy. It's one of my favorite series of all time at this point, I think. And it's just, I guess because I have such high thoughts about that, I was anticipating this too much, and so I'm really nitpicky about the things that I don't like. I don't know. I'm still really, really enjoying it. I love the writing. It's so good. There's one thing that's very interesting to me, and it's something that I noticed in the Raven Rings, and I'm noticing it again here, is the phrase, taking something into your body. So in the Raven Rings, there's this whole thing, ooh, my heat's going off because it's been a cold couple of days, so we have to turn it back on. I apologize for that. But anyway, in the Raven Rings, you can, the phrase is, taking the beak, and I'm not gonna spoil what that means, but it's, taking this raven beak into you, and here you have taking the water, which is this custom that the people here have where at birth, your wedding, and death, you're basically filled with salt water and then it comes out of you, except when you die, obviously it stays in there, and it's this rite of passage, I guess. It feels kind of like a baptism, but that might just be because of my background growing up. It's just a really interesting phrase to use so often, this taking thing, instead of receiving or other verbs that could have been used. The fact that it's taking is just something that's sticking in my head, and I don't know what that means for me, but it's just something interesting that I've been clocking every time they say it. But yeah, I don't know what percentage I'm in. I have 300 more pages, I think, if I'm doing that math correctly, because it's almost 480 pages, and I'm 180 in, so yeah, 300 pages. I'm very much looking forward to reading those 300 pages, so I will update you when I have an update. Good morning, friends. We have a bad angle again because my cat is in my desk chair and I'm not going to kick her out. Today's the 20th. I woke up an hour ago and showered and then read a little bit. And so now I am exactly halfway through Iron Wolf, and I've got more thoughts. So, One, I don't like the commentary on, like, medicine that this has. Chloe is looking at me. That's fine. She can come hang out if she wants to. So there are two different, like, medicines that are in here. There's blood pearls, which are like little fish eggs filled with wolf blood that, like, some people use them to get high. There are these people called blood readers who read the future in people's blood, and they take these blood pearls in order to, like, heighten their abilities. And then the main character Yuva takes this stuff called hogthorn, and it's like an anti-anxiety thing. And these two things are very much equated with each other. Like, there's one guy, her, like, ex-lover, and he was addicted to the blood pearls or whatever. And he's like, well, you're no different than me, you're addicted to the hogthorn. But, like, she has such intense anxiety and, like, experiences, I don't know the correct terminology for this, but, like, her mother was a very terrible person and would constantly, like, gaslight her and lie to her when she was growing up, and so she's constantly, like, doubting herself and her memories. And this hogthorn that she, like, takes, that she, like, makes tea out of it, is an anti-anxiety medicine for her. And the fact that this book is equating that with this thing that people take, like, not judging people who take recreational drugs, that's not it at all, but, like, in this context, equating someone who takes anti-anxiety medication with someone who is addicted to a drug that, like, it's just weird to me. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. As someone who has anxiety, if I could be medicated, I would. But I apologize if you can hear clanging in the background. That's my washing machine. Yeah, that just puts kind of a bad taste in my mouth. My other comment is that there's so much talk about sex in this book, which I get it. Adult fantasy. 9 times out of 10 you're gonna talk about sex. But, like, this one character, whenever we get his perspective, literally all it talks about is sex. And I just don't understand why. It just feels shoehorned in there at points. It's kind of weird. But yes, that is my halfway through rant. I am hoping to get quite a bit read today. I'm going to do my write a bit, read a bit altering to get through both things, because I've got a lot to do with both things. So I will see you when I see you. I might have another update before the end. I might not. We'll see. Hello, friends. We've got terrible lighting, so you know what that means. It's nighttime. Precisely 9 o'clock on the 20th still. I ended up finishing Iron Wolf. I read so much today. A lot of that was done on the Chaos Queens stream that I hosted, but then I also continued reading afterwards, the last about 100 pages. And, oh, the reflection on my computer is so bright on my glasses. Anyway, I don't have many finishing thoughts. Like, I feel like I updated you guys so many times while reading this, and so I have all of my thoughts out there. Yeah, I'm very excited for book 2, even though I'm not going to get it for a while, because it's not even out in Norway yet. It's going to be out in Norway the end of this year, so we're going to get the sequel in English early next year, maybe, hopefully. It's sad, but, like, it takes time to write a book. Yes, so I don't have the next book in front of me, nor do I have it pulled up what prompt it's for. So I'll probably see you tomorrow to let you know about that. Good morning, friends. It is the 21st? Yes. I've been awake for like an hour, and I finished reading my Robert Browning poetry. My favorites are still My Last Duchess and Porphyria's Lover. They're just very good poems. I did enjoy this a lot. Not as much as I enjoy other poets, like his wife Elizabeth Barrett Browning, one of my favorite poets of all time. But still, very enjoyable. I really like Robert Browning's style of doing 5-line stanzas. I feel like that's a very fun thing that he does that I don't really see other people do, and he does it in a lot of poems. Pretty neat. Yeah, this was my pick for Demonology. Now I get to read Crying in H Mart, which is my pick for Animal Studies. and I don't really read nonfiction. I especially don't really read memoirs, but I'm super duper excited for this. I've heard nothing but great things, and I know Sophie Von Ahn recently read this and loved it, so I'm very much excited to read this. So I will start this today. Hello friends, as you can see, I have a cat in my lap. Gremlin, don't go on my nightstand. Today is the 22nd, I believe. That sounds correct. I have just finished reading Crying in H Mart. Technically I finished it a little bit ago, but then I wanted to shower before I filmed this. I stayed up way too late reading Hello Gremlin, reading this. I was up till like 1 in the morning, and I was crying a lot. There's a lot I want to talk about with this book, but I think I'm going to keep it to myself because it's kind of very personal. This is a memoir, the author, Michelle Zauner, talking about the death of her mother and just that impact on her life and everything. And it just makes me think a lot about stuff in my life that I would rather keep to myself for now. And she's going up on my nightstand, that's fine. But yeah, it's just so good, so sad. Definitely don't read this if you don't like to be sad. Okay. I read a lot about grief. It is something I look for in books. Like my favorite book, The Bone Houses, it's a zombie book, it's fantasy, but at the heart of it, it is about grief. Ma'am. And reading about someone's real life grief is just so different from reading about like fictional grief that it's just a lot. But yeah, I finished it and I loved it. She's just coming right back. Okay, that's fine. Normally it's Chloe. Today you get Gremlin. I have 3 more books left to read, and then I've read books for all of the classes, which was not something I expected to do. This was like a pipe dream kind of thing, but here I am. The last 3 that I have are all in a series. They're the Grey Griffins series. So we have Revenge of the Shadow King, which is my pick for Conjuration. And for shapeshifting, we have The Rise of the Black Wolf. And finally, for artificery, we have The Fall of the Templar. I don't know how many pages are in these books. Under 300. Oh goodness. There's a glossary. Just over 300. What about you? 350. So like a little over 900 pages. So I guess if I read about 100 pages a day, I will finish by the 30th, which I can totally do. 100 pages a day is not much for me, but yeah, didn't expect to read all of them this month. That's wild. So I will just update you as I read the books, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this clip. I'm kind of a mess. So, I have finished reading The Revenge of the Shadow King. It's the 24th, by the way. And I finished reading this, and it was okay. I give it probably like a 6 out of 10. It's fine. It's a fun story. I just feel like maybe one more round of developmental edits would have really helped this out, because there are so many, like, big concepts that don't mesh completely together. So the main thing is that it's these kids and they play this card game called Round Table, which kind of feels a little bit like Magic the Gathering, but it's also got this like storytelling D&D element to it. I don't know, it's a little bit confusing, but then like the creatures in the cards are real and they learn about this whole thing. It's a lot, but it combines elements of King Arthur, fae creatures like King Oberon and Queen Titania, the Knights Templar, and like witches like Salem witch trial kind of witches, and all this stuff, and it's fine if you want to do all of that. I just feel like none of it really connected properly, and it was just a little bit weird. I also feel like it doesn't have a solid plot. Like there's point A, point B, but it's not like a one story thread connecting them from beginning to end. It's more just like things happening. So like, I don't know, had I read this at like 10, 11, 12 years old, I probably would have loved it. Reading it now as a 24-year-old, it's okay. I am going to continue on because I said I was going to read the whole trilogy to finish out these prompts for Orilium, and it wasn't so bad that I would want to DNF the series. It was still a fun time, but yeah, definitely not the greatest thing that I've read, but it's alright, and sometimes books can just be alright. So that means I get to start book 2, which is The Rise of the Black Wolf, I think is what it's called. I have it on the other side of the room. I don't feel like getting up to get it. But yeah, so I have, how many days do I have? Including today, so 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. A week. I have a week left to read these 2 books, so I should definitely do it. That's weird. I didn't think that I would have finished all of the prompts for this month, but it's pretty cool. Then I get my choice of careers, callings, whatever they're called, in the next semester. Yeah, I will see you when I have an update on book 2 in the series. Okay, we're gonna ignore this glare down at the bottom because I don't feel like setting up a better place to film. Good morning, friends. It is the 25th. It's like 10:30. I have spent, Chloe's scratching at the door. I'm gonna ignore her. I have spent all last night and all this morning reading The Rise of the Black Wolf, and I finished it, and I can honestly say, one of the worst books that I've ever read. Wow. This book was terrible. So, you remember all the stuff that I said was going on in the first book and how none of it, like, connected or anything? Yeah, they add stuff here. So now we have, like, Viking mythology and everything. And, the bad guys in this book are Nazi werewolves trying to bring about Ragnarok. Yeah. Oh, Chloe has opened the door. Okay, that's fine. I had it open like a teeny tiny bit. I guess she figured out she could push her little paw in there. Yeah, so this book, we also have Dracula, not a vampire. It's just Vlad the Impaler, who was imprisoned in a statue for like 500 years, and then the main characters, like, release him and he helps fight on their side. So weird. So many random things. If I thought the first book was no plot, just things happening one after another, this is so much worse. This literally feels like someone just word vomited all of their ideas, and then instead of, like, editing it to make a cohesive draft, they just fixed the grammar and punctuation and everything and called it a book. Wow, the lighting sucks right now. That's fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this book a 3 out of 10. There's also so many, like, consistency errors. So, like, in the first book, they say that they're 6th graders, but then in this book they say they're 5th graders. One of the characters has a weasel that they explicitly say isn't in this scene, but later on the weasel is in the scene. There's one character, when he's introduced, they say he doesn't speak, like he's mute, but then later on he does, and no one says anything like, hey, what? I thought you couldn't speak. So many things like that. It's just not good. Yeah. I'm still going to read book 3, because I just need to see where this ends up. I know this is like a trilogy, but then apparently there's a second trilogy. I'm not gonna read those. My boyfriend doesn't own those, so I have no obligation the way I do with these. I know I'm not, like, obligated, but, like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm just, ugh, this book was so bad. Book 3 is called The Fall of the Templar, and I'm gonna read that. Oh yeah, about Dracula. He's apparently a member of the Knights Templar. Okay. That's why he helps them when they, like, free him from his statue thing. He also has a pet dragon. Yes. I don't know where all these ideas came from. None of it connects to each other. None of it makes any sense. We'll see how book 3 goes. It is 11:25 on the 26th, and I finally finished reading The Fall of the Templar. I hated the series. This was so bad. I'll probably give this one a 3 as well. I want to give it a 2, but there's a character named Throckmorton, and it just reminded me of that old Tumblr meme of like, oh, your cousin Throckmorton the skateboarder, and I love that meme. I think it's so funny, and so for that reason alone, it gets a 3. First of all, this guy, I don't think he's in this book at all. I think this is just a creature. He's just on the cover, I guess. The Fall of the Templar, terrible name for this book, because the Templar does not fall. Literally on the last page, if I can get past this glossary, no, there it is. It literally says, they're like doing this ceremony thing. It says, indeed, through your acts of extraordinary bravery, the fall of the Templar was averted and a new day has dawned. So the Templar doesn't even fall. So why is this called the Fall of the Templar? Doesn't make sense. This book and book 2 are very intertwined. Like, they honestly could have been one book, and they feel so separate and distinct from the first book. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It was just really bad. There was more of this whole, like, not a plot, just things happening. And this book is the most egregious example of that. There's a lot of references in this book, which I really only noticed one in the second book, which was a reference to Harry Potter. And then here we had more Harry Potter references, as well as references to stuff like Lord of the Rings and Labyrinth, the David Bowie movie. There were a couple references to that and like some other stuff, and I'm like, weird. The Harry Potter reference, they made the same reference twice in the last book and in this book. It was to the Mirror of Erised, where you can only like get what you want out of it if you're not going to use it for yourself or whatever bullshit it is. They had that exact same thing happen for 2 different items being held in 2 different mirrors. I guess you can just do whatever you want. Yeah, I really did not like this series. They really do try to lead you into like the second trilogy at the end. It's not happening. It is not happening. I can't unhaul these because they're my boyfriend's books, but when we move, because we're moving soon, I'm going to make him keep them on his bookshelf because I don't want them on mine. Yeah. Ending the vlog on an interesting note, but that is everything. I've read books for every single prompt in this readathon, so I guess I have my pick of classes come August. I'm definitely not going to be able to cover every single prompt in August because there's 3 for each class, and 14 classes, that's like, what? Ooh, can I do math? 42? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to read 42 books in 1 month, unless they're like all manga, but I don't think I'm going to be able to use all manga to match up with the whatever prompts they have. I don't know. We'll see what calling I end up choosing when that comes around. Sorry, I'm like scatterbrained right now, but that was this vlog. The highlight of the month, crying in H Mart, fantastic, could not recommend more. The worst part of the month, definitely the Grey Griffins trilogy. I'm definitely ranking them lower than I'm ranking the book that I DNF'd, which is saying something. The first book of this trilogy was fine. It was okay. The second and third books just kind of sucked. But I mean, they are middle grade, so maybe I'm not the best judge considering I'm not the target audience, but those are my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments if you participated in the Orilium Magical Readathon and how you did. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.